Good evening. Here's the news at this hour in Seychelles. Staff at two hotels who staged a walkout over late payment of wages have been promised they'll be paid in full by Monday. The assurance from the owners of Savoy Resort and Coral Strand followed successful legal moves to unfreeze its bank account. It was the second time in less than a year that the hotel's workers have taken industrial action over pay.
Feelings were running high again among Savoy staff. They'd walked out when their Russian bosses offered them just half last month's wages as today's legal deadline for payment passed. With the law looking on, the luxury resort was paralysed, its handful of guests looked after by students today. The second such strike in 7 months by staff employed by Gutta Group.
Frustrated, disappointed. We have staff that have been working in Savoy since 2014, since it's been opened. And to have such kind of treatment, especially from the head office in Russia, well, we are protesting because we are not working until our full 100% salary gets in our bank.
Fury too among workers at Savoy's sister hotel, Coral Strand. 75 staff were offered half wages, while expat workers were reportedly paid in full from a separate overseas account.
When the going was good, they got the money. Now the going is a bit bad, bring the money, and they've been assisted as well for 50% of the salary of the workers. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be paying full salary to their workers.
We understand management and staff have been talking inside for some 2 hours now. Management have told workers that they can have 50% of their pay provided by the government, but the remainder will only come when a bank account that's been frozen here is unlocked. Eventually, employment officials turned up to mediate.
According to the law, the employees should be paid by the 5th of every month. So in regards to the employment department, if an employer fails to abide to the provision of the law, then legal action may be taken.
This afternoon, a court ordered the unfreezing of a company bank account, prompting the hotel owners to assure ministry officials that staff would receive their full pay by Monday.
Foreign exchange markets remain stable. This was the declaration of the central bank governor, Ms. Caroline Abel, during today's press conference, the fourth this year. Ms. Abel also announced a series of measures, including the extension of the private sector relief schemes for a further 6 months until December, an increase in the moratorium from 12 to 18 months as a ceiling, and a tenor from 3 to 8 years. The scope of the relief scheme will also be expanded. Governor Abel also acknowledged that the phasing out of the financial assistance for job retention, along with the URS and SETS, will impact negatively on the economy in the short term.
We've seen that since mid-December 2020, exchange rate has been stable, and there has been instances of appreciation. So far this year, the market is in surplus and therefore has helped to stabilize the exchange rate, and central bank has not used the reserves to support the market. The market is functioning appropriately. In the last 2 weeks, we have been discussing with the private sector, the government through the Ministry of Finance and the banking community on how we continue to support the private sector, especially now with the removal of the FA4GR assistance. So most of the assistance will now come through the financial system. So next week, based on the discussion that we've had, banks will be coming out publicly to talk and explain what they are doing and what they will be doing in the coming months, such that we can provide more assurances to the rest of the economy, and we continue to monitor the international developments so that we can align our policies accordingly.
In other news, cruise ships may return to Seychelles as of September this year, now that the country is opening its borders to visitors from all countries except South Africa as of the 25th of March. This was announced during the press conference yesterday by the Minister responsible for tourism, Sylvestre Radegon, and the Principal Secretary for Tourism, Anne Lafortune, after consulting with key partners. Ms. Lafortune says there are ongoing discussions to resume the cruise ship season this year, but since it takes a lot of coordination, this might only happen in September. The last cruise ship season ended abruptly 2 months early last year with the cancellation of the Norwegian Spirit in March, 2 weeks before the country reported its first COVID-19 case. The first flight of the Seychellois-owned cargo transport and distribution company East Services will arrive here tomorrow. Behind the company is Seychellois businesswoman Dr. Carole Naletambi. She met with President Weveram Kalawan this afternoon to brief him about this venture. She was accompanied by the operation manager of the company, Seychellois Vincent Belize. Mr. Belize explains that the company is landing an Airbus 330 from the Turkish Airlines to transport cargo to and from Seychelles.
The capacity of the plane is 35 tons. So we are targeting 35 tons inbound, 35 tons outbound. But we have to be realistic that it will not be the same. So, because due to the fish problem right now, there's been some cancellation in the outbound cargo, but that will not stop us from acquiring what we need. So that's why we come on board also to advertise and tell the people out there whether you are a farmer, whether you have something you want to export, you do fishing, whatever you want to export outside of Seychelles, that is also another means for them, us Seychellois, to take it up to us. It's up to us to be able to take this chance so that we can export outside. Actually, we were targeting for outbound, it was $4.60. But now we are doing a special promotion for this period that is going to be $2.80 for outbound, out of Seychelles. That is outbound cargo coming from Seychelles to Europe. And we go to all the destinations of the world, which our company is connected to.
And this morning, President Weveram Kalawan also met with a delegation comprising of Spanish port sailors that are fishing in our seas. This was the representatives of Inpesca and Albacora Group. They were accompanied by the Minister for Fisheries, Jean-François Ferrari, as well as representatives and the General Manager of the agency operations, Sylwin Edmond. Discussions with the President focused on the way the Spanish vessels will continue to work with the country and in the future of the fishing industry in view of the pandemic.
This time we are very affected because of pandemic. The economic situation around the world is very bad. And then it's time that Seychelles has to talk louder defending this industry, especially the Seychelles economy, because there are many countries around that are playing this game, but not with the same rules. So countries has not any control. We are full control from the different organisms like IOTC, Seychelles, or vessel are permanently surveyed by monitoring, report and everything. And then the only thing that we are asking us for that to allow us in this critical situation, because we are on the limit, just to let us to continue making business and then to be profitable for us, for the companies or for the country.
The Ministry of Health has received a second donation of equipment from the French government to help in the fight against COVID-19. The donation, worth over 81,000 euros or over 2 million rupees, consists of 2 portable Hamilton ventilators and accessories, as well as the reagents for the 2,500 PCR tests. It was the French ambassador to Seychelles, Mr. Dominique Mas, and the permanent liaison officer of the Indian Ocean Commission to Seychelles, Mr. Jacques Bell, who presented the donation to the Principal Secretary of Health, Dr. Bernard Valentin, on behalf of his ministry. The donation has been made possible also through the French Development Agency and the SEGA One Health project, along with the COE. And that's all we have time for. I'll be back at 8. I'll see you then.